So you remember when the tech bubble blew up and a whole bunch of Wall Street traders and executives did the perp walk? You don't? Me either. In fact, what if I told you that even though the market lost $4 trillion in value and Wall Street was forced to pay $875 million in fines, only 2 analysts actually went to jail? Meanwhile, in 2000, the SEC nailed a 15-year-old kid from trading at home. He was forced to pay back all of his gains and a fine totaling $285,000. You know, I bring all of this up, folks, as lawmakers vow to look into this GameStop Robinhood phenomenon and perhaps levy some fines and rule changes. Maybe they'll side with the hedge funds, knowing that they're a huge donor class, and further penalize individual investors. I want to bring in Bianco Research President Jim Bianco, because Jim, you posted those links on your website last week, and I remember all of that and all the time spent on how, you know, the 36-year-old guy caused a flash crash and how this 15-year-old masterminded this one thing from the house. And you know, people get frustrated because it feels like the big boys never pay anything. There's never any sort of retribution from them.
No, that's right. And, you know, it's much worse. I'll just add that the 36-year-old derivatives trader was unemployed living with his mom. And he's the guy that caused trillions of dollars of wealth to be destructed in the market in minutes. And it was not any professional firm that was responsible for it. It does defy credibility as far as the way that they go after it. And you saw it with Janet Yellen's comments over the last few days, that they're seeking to deeply understand, code word for I have no idea what's going on in the markets, and they're focusing their energies on the Reddit boards and the retail investor. They're not focusing their energy on the professional investor, the Melvin Capitals, that maybe left themselves all exposed and vulnerable to somebody who said, hey, this is capitalism. We could take advantage of this situation that they left for us. And maybe there was some violations of securities rules by these big hedge funds in leaving themselves exposed, like with short selling rules. But I don't hear many people asking about that angle. They want to focus more on the Reddit boards and that kind of angle.
I also want to talk to you about Cathie Wood, because she has taken Wall Street by storm. And you know, everybody wants to be in her ARK funds right now, which, by the way, total $50 billion. They were less than $100 million a few years ago. She came on my show routinely right now. Cathie, invitation's still out there. So listen, here's a hunch there's a hunch now that maybe she'll lose the hot hand that she's got. Whatever it is, you know, Jim, the big boys seem to be a little bit frustrated with her, maybe want to elbow them out of her club. Short interest has spiked on ARK of late. Is Cathie Wood getting too big for Wall Street?
She's not getting too big for Wall Street. Look, I'm a big Cathie Wood fan. I think what she's doing is transformational. I think that you'd have to go back to maybe Peter Lynch or Warren Buffett in the 80s to find somebody who has affected Wall Street like she has. She's changing the rules of the game. And of course, the angry old men shaking their fist at her are not happy about it because she's doing that. She's shown them, look, you can look at some of these startup tech companies that don't have profits as being sources of opportunity, like a Tesla or a Zoom along those lines. You don't have to be boxed in by whatever is in the indexes. And you have to start thinking outside the box that there's a big transformation coming. And to testament to Cathie, she is one and one. And yet no one seems to really be following her, except they're starting to, you know, being forced, dragging and screaming to say that her approach is something we got to start looking at. So I think she's on the right path. Yes, her asset growth has been astounding. Well, there's probably going to be a stiff correction, but don't confuse that with the end of what she's talking about, because what she's talking about is far greater than just how fast she's growing.
Well, I know she's got fans all over the world, including a huge fan base in South Korea alone. Jim, always appreciate our conversations. Thank you very much. Well, folks, the left